We just made $30,000 wholesaling a house we found off Facebook totally for free. Let's dive right in. So, real talk. We're all on Facebook, probably more often than we should be. I don't know if you look at your screen time report, but I always find mine a little bit disgusting. Like, wow, I'm really wasting my life. But what if you weren't just aimlessly scrolling, but actually doing something with intention? I talk to a lot of people in real estate, and sometimes they don't have a ton of cash. Now, we've done videos on YouTube before of free ways to find deals, and this came from one of those free methods. Even though we have a marketing budget, we still practice what we preach, because what's a better return than no money out and profit back in? On this particular deal, we actually made $30,000. I don't have like a CRM screenshot to show you because it was literally like a Facebook Messenger chat back and forth type situation. In every single major city in the United States, there are buy, sell, trade, garage sale, investor, wholesaling type groups. And this literally was a post that popped up in one of those groups. So you're just sitting there enjoying a coffee, you've got Netflix on, doing something, scrolling through your phone. Why not keep an eye on these kinds of opportunities? A woman posted, she was a realtor, and said, I have a family member who has a house that they're looking to sell. It needs some work done to it. We're looking for $210K. Now, a lot of you might be kind of like me and be like, oh, well, it's probably not a deal or somebody else is going to beat me to it. So why even try? We should insert like sad Eeyore noises there. Why not shoot your shot? She was asking 210. We hit her up and we were like, hey, we'll give you 180 cash as is, no BS, close whenever you want. And you know what she said? Deal. On this particular property, we thought it was worth right at about $295,000 and needed $40K in work. So if I whip out my super scientific calculator app, right? We do 295,000 times 0.75 because that's the 75% rule. It's how we determine what we want to pay for properties. Minus the $40K in work has us at the most we could pay is $181.25. So on this particular deal, we were actually planning on flipping it. So if we run the numbers real quick on that, if it's worth $295, we're going to take 0.94%. So subtract out 6% for like selling, closing costs, has us at $277,000 minus our $40K in work, minus our $180 purchase, had us looking at right at like $57,000 in gross revenue before we took into account things like holding costs or any overages. But on this particular deal, we actually decided to wholesale it. So just kind of in running it across our network in Cape Coral, Florida, we had folks that wanted it and were willing to pay us a $30,000 assignment fee without us doing anything. We didn't have to pay for an inspection, didn't have to buy the place, didn't have to list it, clean it out, or do anything. Now, if our wholesale fee options on this would have looked more like 5 or 10K, I would have just taken it down, but all of the risk to maybe net 50 or none of it to net 30. If you remember my earlier video on the Cape Coral deal that was wholesaled to a wholesaler to a wholesale, this one actually, it kind of happened on again. So we wholesaled it for 30. That person wholesaled it to somebody else for another 12. Now, the guy who paid $42,000 more than I would have paid for this property, I don't know what his plans are with it. Maybe it's not to flip it. Maybe it's to Airbnb it, or maybe it's just to live in it. That being said, just to double down on that point from that previous video, in real estate, knowing the right people can make you an absolute fortune. We would have made an extra 40% just if we'd been able to find the end buyer ourselves. One other quick lesson I want to touch on this is why we chose to flip versus wholesale it. Outside of like the risk, right? Oftentimes in business, you have to decide, do you want another project or do you want some quick cash coming back in? In this particular market, this particular partnership, it made more sense for us to rip a quick 30 than wait 3 to 4 months to make an extra 20. Now, hindsight being hindsight, if I could have made 42 instead of the 50 I was expecting, that would have been even better. That would have made it even more of a no-brainer just to wholesale the dang thing. Thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me today. Hopefully you enjoy these like real world examples where we're literally making 30 grand off of Facebook just by chatting with people. My last year as a W-2 employee, I only made 23K. So when things like this happen, that's still wild to me. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, we'll talk to you next time.